Hello everyone, I'm excited to share with you some helpful tips for how you can become more inclusive, have a better rapport with students, and help build a more respectful, safe learning and teaching community here at Champlain. In this short video, I will share some simple ways to learn students' names, master pronunciations, and how to use correct pronouns. And to make this critical work even easier, we are rolling out a new helpful technology called Name Coach. Omar once said, "As I teach, I project the condition of my soul onto my students, my subject, and our way of being together." Here at Champlain College, we believe as educators we are responsible for intentionally creating a safe, inclusive learning community in which students and teachers transform one another. Universally, a person's name and pronoun are the earliest and most significant words in their vocabulary. Hearing and recognizing one's name signals belonging. Knowing and calling someone by name is a foundational way to connect with them and begin a relationship. We all have limited capacity when it comes to learning names, pronunciations, and pronouns. The struggle is real. We all find it challenging the first few weeks of the semester, especially when we have students in our classes with names with unfamiliar pronunciations. But I have great news. We now have a helpful technology tool that is going to make learning accurate pronunciation easier. Let me introduce you to Name Coach, an audio name pronunciation tool integrated directly into Canvas. Champlain College is committed to student persistence and success. We want every student to feel like they belong and are valued in our community. By leveraging Name Coach, we can seamlessly and accurately learn students' names and pronouns, build a stronger and more respectful community, and demonstrate our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Name Coach is available spring 2020. Starting now, students and faculty are able to record their names and indicate honorifics and pronouns. The correct information, including an accurate audio pronunciation, will be made available in rosters, email signatures, and everywhere a person shares their name. Excellent! Please encourage all your students to use this tool. The best way to do this is to send the students an announcement in Canvas and remind them on the first day of class. For more details and resources, please see your email from Josh Blumberg, and as always, feel free to contact us here in the CLT. We're always happy to help. Once your students have shared their names and pronouns, it is really important that you make learning them and using them a priority. Here are a few strategies for learning names and building relationships. Number 1, create a pre-class survey. Ask students about themselves. You can ask serious and lighthearted questions. The goal is to be able to make connections and associate the students with their interests and experiences. Next, ask students to make name tents by writing their name and the phonetic spelling on a folded piece of cardstock or 4x6 card. You can ask them to use the name tents until the class knows each other's names. Or you can use them a few times as an icebreaker, challenging yourself and/or the students to properly identify one another. Next, storytelling is a powerful and inclusive pedagogy. Ask willing students to use text, voice, or images to briefly tell their name story or another significant story about themselves. Ask willing students to create a storyboard that includes 4 to 5 facts about them, including their name, phonetic spelling, and their pronoun. Students can present their boards in class or in Canvas. Finally, use a variety of icebreaker activities that encourage students to share their names and pronouns with the class or small groups. The CLT has express packs and dialogue cards and can recommend icebreakers if you need some ideas. The most important thing to remember is to be curious, get to know your students. Pronouns can be challenging for some of us, but we are educators. Learning something new is what we do best. Being persistent and humble learners is who we are. Here are a few tips for honoring and respecting a person's pronoun or pronouns. Maggie Melvin first shared these do's and don'ts as part of her presentation from the Women and Gender Center. Thanks, Maggie. When making introductions and calling on students in class, Keep one key concept in mind. Don't assume, do affirm. When setting your classroom norms, remember to use the phrase your pronoun rather than preferred pronoun. This is more affirming because a person's pronoun is not just a preference like something they went shopping for. Invite all students to share their pronouns if they feel comfortable doing so. Students do not want to be called out or singled out in any way. Please make it optional, as some may not be ready to share. Finally, model and encourage your students to share pronouns regularly when making introductions or having small group discussions. When you interact with students, we suggest regularly reminding students of your name and pronoun, and then say, "And what is your name? What is your pronoun?" Or "How about you?" Sometimes you're going to have to adjust to a new or unexpected pronoun. Here are a few tips from Robot Hugs for handling it like a rock star. Since we don't get to judge a person's identity, it is not okay to question someone's terminology. Making claims about what is normal or arguing about grammar is not really the point anyway, right? You want to make all students feel welcome and included. You want to build a strong community connection. So be interested. Learn as much as you can to familiarize yourself with the terminology your students provide. And FYI, if you still want to argue about grammar, well, they, used to refer to a person whose gender identity is non-binary, was Merriam-Webster's 2019 Word of the Year. So there goes that fight. I'm not saying it's easy to adjust, but we adjust to things all the time, and we are resilient, and we can do this. Mistakes? Yes, you will. Just apologize. Don't be all awkward like this person or this person. Instead, just apologize and be cool. You can be cool. Anytime we are learning something new, it helps to take time to practice. You can practice by reviewing your roster and reviewing Name Coach. Use students' names and pronouns in sentences by saying it aloud while doing chores, or write sentences out until it feels natural for you. So here's a review. Affirm by modeling and normalizing accurate introductions and classroom communication. Apologize gracefully when you make a mistake. Use helpful tools and practice until you get it right. Remember, a person's name is to them the sweetest and most important sound in any language. If you want to build strong relationships with your students and create an inclusive classroom culture, be an ally, especially to those who feel invisible or marginalized. Get to know your students, be curious, ask questions, listen, and reflect back to them what you hear. Educate yourself. Learn as much as you can about unfamiliar terminology. Be prepared to share with students with marginalized identities resources on campus and in the community. Speak out. Be the one to correct others when students are misgendered or when you witness a bias incident. And be most careful about outing other people. Let's commit to slowing down and being more careful and more intentional, and let's make sure that every student has the very best Champlain College experience, one that keeps them coming back because they know they belong here. They belong with us. Credits and much gratitude.